Alright folks, this week's project is a pair of bread boxes, and I'm going to show you how to make the plan as well as the bread box itself. The bread box is very easy. You can whip right through making the bread box, so it's nothing special, but I want to show you how you can set up a little plan over here. I've got the overview, which is just like a trimetric image of the box itself, a side detail which will let you know all the dimensions, everything you need, and a cutting diagram to show you your layout and cutting diagram. So very easy to do, and I'll show you how you can make all these different scenes up here with different layers. So stick around and I'll get right to it. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is set up a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to use the dimension command a lot, and I like to have keyboard shortcuts. If you haven't noticed, it saves a lot of time. So Window, Preferences, this is how you can set one up. Shortcuts, find whatever tool you like to use a lot. I'm going to use the dimensions tool a lot, so D for dimension, press the plus sign to add it. So now every time I press the D for dimension, it'll give me my tools, dimensions. Test it out, D, and there's my dimensions. Alright, so now let's start building the box, and I want to draw it on the blue-green plane, which is the side, and right now I'm on the blue-red, so let's rotate around. R for rectangle along the blue-green plane, 11, 11, and the only cut I have, T for tape measure, is 2 inches off the bottom, a 30-degree line off a vertical, and L for line to connect the dots here. Use a crossing to delete this, delete that. P for push-pull this direction, 0.75 inches for the thickness of 1x material. Now, this is going to be built with rabbet joinery. One of them is going to be rabbeted construction, and the other one is going to be pocket hole construction. That doesn't matter as far as this drawing goes, because the only difference is there's going to be a rabbet here, and one on this one, and one that's not going to have the rabbet. So, no big deal. Let's use our offset command on this plane, and let's go in 0.75 inches for the thickness of our new material. P for push-pull, let's push the rabbet in 0.375, which is half the thickness of a 3/4 inch board. Spacebar, triple-click, G for component, enter. Now we can start drawing our different sides here. Now the back is going to be the full length, so R for rectangle from this top corner all the way down to the bottom. And to get this exactly where I want it to be, I can just put my mouse over this, and once it says endpoint in component, it snaps to that endpoint, so it gives me a perfect vertical, and as you see, that little black dot's still highlighted. So that's perfect right there. P for push-pull this direction, 15 inches, enter, spacebar, triple-click, G for component, enter. All my pieces, other than the sides, are going to be 15 inches long. Alright, so let's draw the bottom. R for rectangle from here over to this point, endpoint in component, and it's snapping to that point down here. P for push-pull this direction, 15, enter, spacebar, triple-click, G for component, enter. The front face, this is a 30-degree angle, and I want the front and the door itself to split that 30 degrees. So we can just connect the dots here. This is 15 degrees. All my measurements are already here, no drawing needed. P for push-pull this direction, 15, enter, spacebar, triple-click, G for component, enter. So that's what the front face is going to look like. And instead of splitting the difference here, I actually want the door to go all the way to the top. So let's draw the top piece. Alpha line over here, and I want this to be, this angle right here, I want it to be exactly lined up with this. So if I just hold my mouse over here, it says edge in component. Now it'll snap to that edge in component, parallel to edge. So it gives me an extension. Whoops, I messed that up. Let's do it again. Edge in component, now parallel to edge from the point up to there. P for push-pull this direction, 15, enter, spacebar, triple-click, G for component, enter. Now the door itself, everything's already here, so I just connect the dots. That's the beauty of this project as far as SketchUp goes. Very easy to do. P for push-pull this direction, 15, enter, spacebar, triple-click, G for component, enter. Now I need to add my second side, so I've already drawn it over here. M for move, control brings up plus sign, moving it from one side to the next, right click, flip it along the red axis because that's the direction I pulled it. So there it is. That is the bread box. That was super easy. Now I want to add a little pull here, so let's just go T for tape measure, and I want to go down this face, I don't know, 2.5 inches. That sounds good. And alpha line right off of this midpoint. I'm using a line here because you can snap right to the midpoint of this project, and I'll just connect the dots here. So this gives me a reference point where I want my pull to be. C for circle. Let's go, I don't know, 0.125, enter, something like that, and delete this line because we no longer need it. P for push pull, this direction, 0.25 inches, and we'll make that a component, I guess. Why not? C for circle, and just like our lines and edges, you can snap to them. If you put your mouse on a circle on the outside of the circle, you can snap to the center of a circle. So 0.75 inches, that sounds good. P for push pull, this direction, 0.125, space, enter, space bar, triple click, G for component, enter. Alright, now I have a little fancy pull, yay. But what if I just rotate this? So Q for rotate, and if I just rotate the door, the pull stays where it was. So let's not do that. Let's actually select all of this. Select the door and the pull. Right click and say you are a group. So now if I select a group and Q for rotate, I can rotate the entire door and the pull together. So yay for that. So this is the actual bread box. That was extremely simple, extremely easy to make here in SketchUp. So I'm going to take a quick break real quick, and then we can start making the actual plan. Alright, with the physical box done, we can start working on the plan. And the first thing that I want to do is start distinguishing all these different parts. I like to just start assigning various different colors to all the pieces, so that way we have some type of distinction between them. So I'm going to pick a color randomly for each piece. I really don't care what each piece is. I just want each piece to be different. That way I can show you in the cutting diagram each individual piece. And just to be honest with you, these are some horrible colors here, but they are all different. Okay. Now we need to set up some scenes and layers. Scenes. First scene is, let's call this overview. Second one, let's call this, the only detail we need to show is basically the side. You can get everything in that one, so side detail. Third one is going to be my cutting diagram. Let's go to overview. I just hit right click and update for whatever reason, I don't know. Alright, all of this I want to be on one layer, and I want a cutting diagram to be on another. So let's say first add a layer, overview, and I can use the overview layer in both overview and side detail. Second layer is cutting diagram. So I want to put all of this, right click, entity info, I want to put all of that on the overview layer. Okay. Now that I'm on the overview scene, I want to only have the overview layer visible. So let's uncheck these, right click, and update. Same with side detail. I'm on side detail and I only want overview to be visible. So uncheck these, right click, update. Cutting diagram. On this one, I want to copy all of this to another location, and this right here, for right click, entity info, it is still on overview and I'm about to hide it. But first I want to take the new one and say the new one is on cutting diagram. So now if I hide overview, you'll see this one disappear. Let me go on to this layer first. hide it, and it disappears. Alright, update here. The overview is basically the bread box, and this is just going to be like a cover image, so nothing special. Side detail, I want to be looking perpendicular to this side face, but I want to see all of the detail right here. Easiest way to do that, and this helps because it's all color coded, you know which pieces go where. Right click and hide this side. Let's take our camera and say parallel projection, that way all of my angles are no longer distorted, they are all the way they should be, and let's look at this from the right side. There you go, all of your pieces in the exact size and location. So D for dimension, and this front face is 2 inches, and we will add a notation saying that this angle right here is 15 degrees on both the front and door. And for move, and let's just tighten this up a little bit. D for dimension, and this is the bottom. And because it's color coded, I don't even have to have a label saying, hey, this is the bottom, because you know, according to the overview, what this piece is. D for dimension. D for dimension, the inside of the lid. And this is going to be a little bit tricky because they're all angles and nothing is exactly perpendicular to the front piece. I'm going to add a couple guides first. So first I'm going to add one across the front and use my protractor here to say off of this I want to go 90 degrees, and off of this I want to go 90 degrees. So now my leftmost part before I cut the angle and my rightmost part before I cut the angle, I can snap to those. So D for dimension from here to here. This gives you the length of the front door. So let's delete my little spacebar, delete my little guides here. They have served me well, but I no longer need them. Let's M for move. And it's trying to snap to something. Yeah, that's alright. So that, with all of these dimensions right here, you know everything about all of the pieces. Oh, I'm sorry. I needed one more for the total width here. So D for dimension. From here to here. That way you can tell that this side piece is not only 11 inches tall, but it is 11 inches wide. And also let's just add a little notation here that says all pieces other than sides are 15 inches long. And right click, update. Whoops, keyboard shortcut, my bad. Alright, so now let's yeah, that's it. Go back to overview and you see all my dimensions are still there. So let's select all of my dimensions real quick. And let's go to hide. Select just that dimension, right click. Select just that dimension, edit, hide. There we go. Now let's right click and update the overview. So in the overview my dimensions are hidden. I'll go to the side detail and my dimensions come back. Now let's go to cutting diagram. Cutting diagram, I don't want any of this. I don't know why it let's go to cutting diagram, uncheck overview, right click and update. Let's see if that did it. It did not. So let's just do this and go to hide. I don't know why it's messing with me like that. Right click, update. There we go. It's hidden. That's all that matters. Alright, in the cutting diagram, now I'm just going to lay all my pieces out, just rotating everything on edge so that, come on, just going to lay them out like this so that I can put them on a 1 by 12 rather. And I'll just start positioning these like so. And move, just start moving pieces. M for move along the blue axis, so that plane is the same right there. M for move. Like I said, there might be easier ways to do this with the plugins cut list right here, cut list plugin. But once you have that printed off, it no longer stays with the file. So I like to do it this way. That way, if I give this file to somebody, they have the actual cut list without even installing the plugin. So it's a little bit more work up front, but I think that it is worth it. Q for rotate from this point 90 degrees, and these goodness, there we go. Alright, so now if I go top down and make sure I am in parallel perspective, I can say tape measure and go down 11.25 inches for a 1 by 12, make another one right here, and then I am at 80 something inches. So if we get a 8 foot, which is 96 inches, this is my cutting layout. This tells me that I am a 1 by 12 that is 8 feet long. So I can go to add some text here. 1 by 12 by 96 inches. Quantity 1. That's basically the layout right here. So I'm happy with that. Right click, update, and I need all of this, every bit of this, because I have added some more pieces. Let's say this is all the cutting diagram. Right click, update. Now if I go to side detail, overview, and cutting diagram, everything is where it needs to be. I don't need to give you the dimensions on the cutting diagram because you have them all in the side detail. So and you know what piece is what because of the color coordination. So it may take a little bit up front to do this, maybe a little bit more confusing to do this, but it's good practice working with the commands. And also, if I give this file to anybody, they automatically have the cutting diagram without even installing the cut list. So as soon as they open this up, they have everything that they need ready to go. So that's how you make a plan in SketchUp.